You know that feeling? You leave a meeting, everyone's nodding, you think you're all on the same page. Then, a week later, you realize you are all building completely different things. It happens all the time, and it almost always comes down to one thing: the words we use. See, in business, language isn't just about communication, it's the actual blueprint for everything we do. Get it right and you get success. Get it wrong? Well, you get chaos.
And this isn't just some minor communication hiccup. In the world of business, this kind of distortion is a massive risk. It leads to wasted money, frustrated teams, and projects that completely collapse, not because the idea was bad, but because nobody was speaking the same language.
So that's really the core problem, isn't it? I mean, if my idea of done is totally different from your idea of done, and your definition of good is miles away from what our customer thinks good is, how can we ever build something of value? It's like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand. It's just not going to work.
So, what's the fix? Well, one of the great pioneers of quality management, a guy named W. Edwards Deming, he had a brilliant answer. He said, we need to create operational definitions. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. Just stop using vague, fuzzy words and start creating a shared, precise language that everyone can actually act on.
So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to decode 3 of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood terms in the entire business world: quality, requirements, and management system. Yeah, everyone uses these words, but almost no one agrees on what they actually mean. All right, let's start with the big one: quality. It's a word we see plastered everywhere, right? But what does it really mean? We all have this gut feeling about it, but the second you try to pin it down with a solid definition, well, things get surprisingly complicated, fast. Now, seriously, just take a second. How would you define it? Is it about luxury? Is it perfection? Is it about having 0 defects? The answer, well, it's not nearly as simple as you might think. You'd think the experts would have a clear answer, right? Nope, not even close. Even the giants of quality management couldn't agree. Duran said it was fitness for use, but then he also said it was freedom from deficiencies. Crosby insisted it was simple: conformity to requirements. And Deming, he aimed even higher, calling it sustained satisfaction. It just goes to show you, context is everything. And here's where we get our first big breakthrough. Most of us think about quality in these fuzzy, subjective terms, like goodness or excellence. But the official ISO definition is incredibly precise. It's not about some vague feeling of perfection. It's about the degree to which something fulfills requirements. All of a sudden, it's measurable, it's objective, it's something you can actually build a business on.
Okay, so let's move to our second term because it builds directly on the first. If quality is all about fulfilling requirements, then we've got to ask the next logical question. What exactly is a requirement? And let me tell you, it is so much more than what's just written on a spec sheet.
Okay, so here's the official definition. It sounds simple, but you have to pay really close attention to those 3 crucial words: stated, implied, and obligatory, because understanding the difference between them is where most companies either win or lose. For real. Stated requirements are the easy ones. They're what the customer writes down and asks for. Obligatory requirements are the laws and regulations you have to follow. But the one that trips everybody up is implied. These are the unwritten rules, the common practices your customer just assumes you're going to follow. They expect polite service. They expect the product to be safe. They never write it down, but if you miss it, you've completely failed to meet their requirements. And that brings us to our third and final term: management system. Now, when you hear that phrase, what comes to mind? For a lot of people, it's a shelf full of dusty binders, or maybe some complicated piece of software. The truth, though, is way more profound than that. Okay, this is so crucial. We have to understand the difference between being systematic and being systemic. Being systematic is about following a recipe, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. But being systemic is about understanding how all the ingredients interact to create the final dish. A management system isn't a recipe. It's a deep understanding of the whole kitchen. This famous quote just nails it perfectly. A system isn't a real physical thing you can go out and touch. It's just a model. It's a mental map that we draw to try and make sense of all the crazy complexity inside an organization. So a quality management system isn't a department. It's not a set of documents. It is a specific lens. It's a unique way of looking at your entire organization through the perspective of how it creates value for and retains customers. I mean, think about it. There are so many ways to model a company.
An org chart shows you who reports to whom. A process map shows you how the work actually gets done. A causal loop diagram can show you how a tiny change over here can cause a huge ripple effect way over there. They're all just different useful ways of seeing the exact same organization.
So you see, you don't install a management system like you install new software. You adopt it. It's a shift in your perspective. It's about developing a new, holistic way of seeing how everything connects to deliver value to your customer.
All right, let's bring this all home. We've decoded quality, requirements, and management system. So why does any of this matter? Well, because mastering this language is exactly how you move from confusion and chaos to creating real, tangible value.
And here it is. This is the secret ingredient. When everyone in your organization, and I mean everyone, from the CEO down to the brand new intern, shares the exact same definition for these key terms, something amazing happens. Their actions just naturally start to align. It's like a powerful chain reaction. You start by getting crystal clear on your terms. That clarity leads to a genuinely shared understanding. No more guesswork. That understanding means everyone's actions and decisions start pulling in the same direction. And that alignment, that's where consistent, high-quality results are born.
So the next time you hear someone dismiss a debate over definitions as just semantics, remember this. A shared language is not a trivial detail. It is the fundamental operating system that runs your entire business.
And so I'll leave you with this to think about. Back in your own office, with your own team, when you all talk about quality, are you absolutely sure you're all speaking the same language?